we made it to the live stream. So I'm going to say good evening, y'all. Welcome to my stream. Okay, I think I got everything set up now. Except now I'm going to go to my second channel. Log in on that channel via the computer. And yeah, so I can read my chat. Kill the volume. There we go. And we do that. Perfect. Now we're good for everybody else that wants to come in. If we're going to have anybody else coming in. So yesterday was an interesting chat, especially with that young fella. That was a question that I appreciated. He asked me, how do I approach a girl to get a date? The challenges of being young and a young man in love. Oh, wait a minute. That challenge can go on your entire life. It's even now when I find myself, single again and looking to find somebody, I have that, how do I ask somebody out on a date? It's hard to do. Hello, whoever has joined the chat, the live stream. Thank you for coming. Don't be scared. Say hello. Hello, Marwin. Oh, I'm not crying. My eyes water regularly. Yeah, you'll see me from time to time wipe the water out of my eyes. My day was good there, Corrine Bauer. Where are you from, Corrine? And welcome. Hello, Margot. Welcome. Wisconsin. Would you believe I'm not that far away from you? I am right across the little stream that runs in between International Falls, Minnesota, and the western end of Ontario, in particular Fort Francis. What? Dang. Oh, okay. What did I do, Corey? By the way, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, just I don't have a particular talk or anything that I commit myself to talking to. I like answering questions. I have so much information and knowledge and wisdom that it's hard to pick a singular topic that would be of interest to particular listeners. So I'd rather just let them, throw out a question. Ah, yes, yeah, okay. Sounds like you might be a younger person there, Corrine Bauer. Oh, I don't know if you want to know how old I am, Margot. Um, let's put it this way: I'm old enough to have gray hair and have. I could have grandchildren if my first wife had, wanted to have kids with me. Sadly, I had to wait, until I was married again in my, just before I was 40, and then I had kids. So I still have kids in high school. And I'm staring, that retirement age, right in the face. It's not that far away. Is that a good enough answer for you without telling you exactly how old I isn't? No, it's okay. I'm actually 61, Margot. And I'm proud of it. I've earned the gray hair, and I've earned, the wrinkles that cover my face because I work construction. So I spend a lot of time in the sun and the weather. As a matter of fact, tomorrow morning I'm headed out of here 6:30. I got a 3-hour drive to the location where I work tomorrow for the first part of the day. Once I'm done there, I continue on to Thunder Bay and spend a night in a motel. So my live stream will probably be late tomorrow, or I'll do it on the road. And I've got another house to go and take care of deficiencies on the south side of Thunder Bay. Or I should say, not the south side, the west side. Yes, we are. Absolutely, Shannon. Or Sharon, I'm sorry. We are blessed by the grace of God. But every day we breathe the air that God gave us. And it sounds like you are somebody that is likely a regular churchgoer. I was too. Until I asked the question to God, why do I have to go to church on Sunday? You'll never believe the answer he gave me. He told me, you don't. Nowhere did I have to tell you, you have to go to church on Sunday. That is a custom and superstition that's, been indoctrinated into people by organized religion. And he didn't want us in organized religion. He wanted us in relationship with him. Not a bunch of people that parked their asses in church pews. Because, if parking your ass in a church pew makes you a Christian, then parking my ass in a garage would make me a car. Yeah. Yep. William, absolutely. They demand the money out of you. Yeah. Always, pass the collection plate, because the pastor's got to eat. Well, the pastor should take an example from the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul refused the charity of the people that he was preaching to. He plied his trade as a tent maker to provide for his needs and then preached on top of that. Okay? He didn't convert his preaching into his sustenance. Bet you the pastor didn't tell you that from the pulpit, did he? You know, none of the apostles asked to be paid for spreading the word of God. That has become modern religion. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was part of religion at Christ's time as well. Because the Pharisees and Sadducees, they were taking their big slice, not just, a little slice. They were taking a big slice out of what was brought to the temple, right? Because, they should get 10% of what, the people donated to the Lord for God's work. Well, they're doing God's work, so, they should be getting 10%. When Jesus was here, he told the disciples that God would not dwell in buildings made by man's hands of wood or stone, but would dwell in the hearts of men. Yet, how many churches, and by that I mean structures, buildings, are constructed for the sole purpose of bringing glory to God? They dishonor God by building those buildings, because the money that they use to build those monuments to their avarice, right, to demonstrate how well they are able to, fleece the flock to gather money to build a building, a monument to God, money that could be better used to feed the hungry, house the homeless, heal the sick, or care for the sick. Though that is what God wants us to be doing when he tells us to bring the money in for God's work. That is God's work. Loving the neighbor. Because, the Bible says God is love. But unfortunately, in English, that word is multifaceted and overused and understood. If you look at the Greek, it says that God is a Deus agape. God is love. But agape love is care, compassion, charity. Right? Oh, for some reason it's hot in here. And that care, compassion, and charity is really, simple. If you have a coffee in the morning, how about, your neighbor? They got coffee or clothes, or they, have they got what they need for the day? And if not, that's where the church is to step in, right? Nowadays, you go to a modern church, with a need, right? You have no groceries for the week. Your kids are going to go hungry. You know what the modern church will do? Well, go to the welfare office. They'll give you a voucher for the store. You can go buy some groceries. But that is because, the church neglected their duties to the people in caring for them, their neighbors. A neighbor isn't the person that lives just beside you. It's the people that are around you, the people you interact with. Your neighbor is everyone that you can lay your eyes on. And we are supposed to look after them. Make sure that they're okay. Not, send them to the government, right? So the government can then hire somebody else to take their business card and use it like a gun to extract money from everybody else to pay, to do what the church is supposed to do voluntarily. That's not love. That's abandoning, our responsibilities and creating undue hardship. Because if you listen to, the economists, the most heavily taxed people are the ones that can barely afford it. They're struggling to keep their head above water, and they pay the highest taxes. But they're also the least greedy, the most likely to put food into a food bank box, the ones that are, most likely to have high volunteer hours, unlike the ones that, make millions of dollars a year, like CEOs. You'll find them at their country clubs, beating up on a little white ball. And, prancing around with other multi-million dollar earners, beating up on their little white ball. And living in fancy gated houses. But they don't care about, and on top of that, then they'll hire, these people that are just marginalized as, housekeepers and whatever, as servants, right? And pay them minimum wage, barely, right? Pay them the least amount legally possible. Oh, well, we've hired 3 house staff, we pay them. And they think they're doing good. Yeah, right. If you could pay them nothing, you would. Those are the people that have Satan living in their soul. Obviously, I mean, they wouldn't know charity if it jumped up and bit them in the ass. And they'll go to these, big fundraisers for this charity or that charity where it's $1,000 a plate. And, it's being hosted and organized by one of their rich friends who skims half of it off into their own personal coffers. Hello, Susanna. Welcome again. Thank you. Yes, William, it is true and sad. And that is the world we live in, sadly, because Satan is on the loose. And the biggest problem, hello, Christina, welcome. So sadly, William, it will only get worse because so many people see the wealth. Okay. Go ahead, Christina. You go. You can do your live. I'll join you later. I'm grateful that you stopped in to say hi. Okay. So yeah, sadly, Roy, people they want to aspire to have and be what these rich people are, because Satan has worked in their hearts to be covetous. They want what they don't have. They want, keep up with the Joneses. Excuse me, but I got an itch inside my ear. Oh, I'll be there in a bit, Christina. I'm not going to do a long live stream today. So, anyways, I think that's enough that on that topic. Yeah. Everybody who's in here, my friend Hardy Miles, she is a Filipina vlogger. I love spending time in her stream. So I'm going to keep my stream short, relatively short. Okay, thank you, William. Thank you for stopping by and participating in the conversation and digging that little nugget of information out of my cranium. And I look forward to seeing you again. Oh, I think before I go anywhere else, I'm going to have to turn the air conditioning back on in here. We had a power outage last night, and I didn't turn the AC back on to pump the cold in here from the shop. Uh-huh. So, when are you getting the paperwork done with that skanky ex of yours, Christina? You working on it already? Isn't he a seaman? It would be convenient if he had a sudden marine accident, right? Oh, yes, I know. I was so tired. I usually put a TV series on my tablet beside the bed. I bet you I didn't get 10 minutes into an episode of, there's a show that I'll just watch. I'll put it on for the white noise. I bet you I didn't get in 10 minutes into the episode and I was gone. I was fast asleep. Fortunately, after the screen hasn't been touched for 3 episodes, it just shuts itself off. Okay, you start in 2 minutes, and I'll be there in about 20. Okay. Actually, what I may do is pop into your live stream on the computer and just keep it silent. Ugh. So, anybody else got any inquiries? I'm wondering who's here. I know Hardy is, and my Ninja channel is hiding in the background. Oh. So we've already had one good discussion. We'll see if we can get another good one going. Okay. Okay. I'm on your channel, but it doesn't say that you're live yet. Okay, we got another volunteer in the room. Introduce yourself, say hello, and tell me. a little bit about yourself. And while you're doing that, I am going to say hello to my friend in her live stream. Uh-huh. Oh. So now it's just me, myself, and I, and another visitor. Ah. Well, oh, we got others here. Hang on, guys. I gotta go turn on my circulating fan here. Oh. Ah. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for visiting my stream. Say hello, please. Just so I can at least say hello back. And yeah, I like answering questions because otherwise I just got too many things that I know, something about that I could share. And I don't know where to start. Hey, article. Well, you're not in Hardy's stream? She's live too. She was just here and now she's gone live herself. I thank you for stopping by. Ah, Hardy's all wet. That's why she was live. Yeah, she was a hit and run today. But I did this. See, I've got the computer, so I've got her stream there muted. Hello, Chronic. Say Chronic Carlos. I just found you scrolling lives. Yep. So, Carlos, I'm a plethora of information. I try not to make a topic that I'm going to talk about, but I love to answer questions. And I listen a lot. I absorb a shit ton of information, and then share it out. Quite often, I'll pull together a whole bunch of nuggets, and yeah, share what I've learned. Sometimes it's crazy too. They say that you don't have to be crazy to live in this world, but it sure the fuck helps. Because there's a lot of craziness in this world, more than I care to acknowledge. Like a guy I know, he's from the Toronto area. Right now, he's down in Southern California, or actually, I think he's on his way back. But he worked construction, banging tin, right? So doing duct work for for commercial buildings primarily. And he's given it up for his hobby of going out and filming in public. And the way that people react to a camera that's on, a tripod or a monopod in front of somebody is absolutely mind-numbingly stupid. They don't even see the cameras that are mounted to trees, poles, buildings, you name it. They don't react to the 9 cameras mounted in a Tesla because they're hidden. They're not attached to a person. But the video that people get on their Teslas, they post it. The people, there's security people that they're sitting there watching the videos. Let's say in a building, and let's, for instance, say somebody gets into an elevator, and the person's standing there digging, for gold in their nose. Well, the security guard will take that, section of video and post it on the internet. So, but the person standing there doing it didn't object to the camera in the elevator, right? But, somebody standing there with a camera on a sidewalk, they lose their fucking mind. And bank employees are the most insane, I gotta say. They are paranoid. They think everybody's gonna rob them. Or jewelers. Everybody's, casing the joint to rob it. They haven't got a logical bone in their body. You really think if somebody was going to be casing your joint to rob it, that they'd be standing there in view of your cameras with a camera in order to case your bank? You really, you're digging digging deep in the barrel of stupidity there. Yeah. I just find it absolutely hilarious. And then cops. Amagansett Press. I just saw his short earlier this morning. I haven't seen the full-length video. Amagansett Press was chased off a public sidewalk in a town because the owner of the business claimed that he owns right to the fucking curb. I don't know a single municipality where a business owns right to the curb. Generally, streets are 33 feet each way from the center line as a bare minimum. 33 feet, especially, in the downtown core, because that gives you a driving lane, a parking lane, and sidewalk. You get these 4-lane streets, that easement's even bigger. It's 72 feet or 84 or something like that. But just absolute insanity. The easiest way to find, the property line is look for the water mains. The water shutoffs for any building will be exactly on the property line. That's where they put them. Because the municipality provides water up to the property line. And that's where they put in the curb stop. And from there on, it's your baby. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, back in the '90s and the early 2000s, there wasn't the internet like there is now. You know, you can't scratch your ass if somebody hasn't got it on film, and they're not afraid to post it either. You know, the everybody catches the embarrassing moments, and they're happy to share your embarrassment. Oh, yep. You know, and all the cop cams, right? The body worn cameras that cops wear. Oh well, we wear the body worn camera for accountability, but and those videos are public property. They belong to the people, not the police agency. Yet, you know, there are places where you literally have to go and get a court order to have them, released. Especially if there's something that the cops don't want exposed to the public, like an officer doing something wrong, because then they might have to actually hold themselves to the lower standards that they hold themselves to. Okay, we'll see you there, Artichoke. Yeah, I'm not going to be far behind you there, buddy. It's crazy how many cameras and probably easy password or no password too. It's even a search engine like Google called Shodan to search areas with cams. Yeah, I know. I mean, nowadays you can get live satellite feeds. Go figure that one. So um, the idea that people have, that when they're out in public, they have the right to privacy when they're out walking around on public street. I guess they've bought the bullshit from Hollywood. You always have to uh, have a signed waiver in order to have your photo taken. Well, if that were the case, how do the paparazzi get photos of all these, celebrities and put them in magazines? All these embarrassing, shots that they've gotten. Duh. It's called, public visibility. As long as the cameraman's in a place he's lawfully permitted to be, he can take whatever pictures he wants of whomever is within the view of the camera. Too fucking bad if your ass is hanging out. What do you think about those cameras, the flock cameras in the United States that they put on telephone poles, and they can track your vehicle going through town? Right? And that's open source information to the police departments. You might as well put a band on their arm now that has two S's side by side. That's the symbol of, right? I don't think I need to remind anybody of that one. The and the Fourth Amendment violations. The majority of these states, they have to have probable cause for an arrest before you are required to relinquish your identity. Well, the cop will come up to you. Well, we got a call, so we have to have your ID. Oh, so you need your crack, do you? Oh, yeah. Well, no, not closer to China. Let's think a little farther back, about 80 years in history, a little over 80 years, back to a time of occupation, like the Second World War. The SS was the German police, also known as the Gestapo. Gestapo was, shortened form from Gemeente Stadspolitie. Gestapo. And in those times, and my dad, remembered it because he was born early in the war, early in the occupation of Holland. You had to have travel documents if you were out after dark. And if you were walking through the city, you encountered an SS officer or two, usually they traveled in pairs, they would stop and demand to see your papers. And that was, the norm. And it's, almost that bad in places in the States. They stop you, New York City, they were doing that. Stop an ID. Stop an ID is against the U.S. Constitution. You have the right to be secure in your person, papers, and effects. Your papers is your ID. Well, if you're an American citizen, you would do well to learn your Constitution and understand what it means for you. I'm sure you heard of the First or the Fifth Amendment, right? Or pleading the Fifth. That means that, if a cop is asking you questions, your response is, I don't answer questions. You have no obligation to to aid them in any investigation. And, there's person after person after person they arrest for impeding an investigation. You can't impede their investigation when you exercise your right under the Fifth Amendment. They can, have that feeling you're impeding my investigation all they want. Even, refusing to give them identification. That's Fourth and Fifth Amendment protected. So, Mr. Police Officer, put that, stick up your ass and light it. And they're getting sued, and they are getting sued, and they are getting sued. And it's time, I've heard, I keep hearing it from various places, it's time for police reform in the United States. And it's going to be real easy for them to do it. Call them professionals. Their ego will be so fucking big that they'll just jump right on it. Yeah, right on. We're professional law enforcement. And let them sign up for that. And the minute they do, right, minute that all the forces sign up that we're going to call our, officers professional law enforcement, then you drop the little bomb on them. As a professional, you must maintain professional liability insurance. Personal. Not the police force, not the municipality, not the state. Okay? Personal. Professional liability. Like a pilot, like an engineer, like a doctor. Many other professions. Insurance agents have to carry, errors and omissions insurance. You do the same thing to a cop. If he violates the fucking law, he's got to defend it with his insurer. Right? Every automobile, you have to present financial liability for any accidents or you cause. Well, shouldn't it be the same for a cop? Hello, Megan. 3 a.m. Whoa, you must be 2 time zones closer from Philippines. Or yeah, because it's right now it's 5 a.m. No, it's 13 hours ahead. Yeah, there it's 7 a.m. Okay. You have a cookie right now. Oh, awesome. Oh, you're in BC. I'm in Ontario. So, Chronic Carlos, if you are in BC, learn our Charter of Rights and understand it. We have almost all the same rights as the Americans, with the exception of one very important one, which we should have. We do not have a Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, which is unfortunate because we have no way of protecting ourselves from a tyrannical government. And if you try to unseat a tyrannical government, they will, call you treasonous and have the criminals with the guns come and arrest you and put you in jail. Yeah, you heard me right. The criminals with guns will come and arrest you and put you in jail, because the only ones, that are allowed to have guns and carry guns in this country openly are the, I should say it this way. The only ones that carry guns in this country are criminals, handguns. The ones that are allowed to carry them by the government carry them on the outside, in holsters. The ones that aren't, they hide them behind their coats. But handguns are all in the hands of criminals, period, in this country. Because what the cops did in Ottawa in January of 2022 was criminal. I think every cop that was there went for pay duty in Ottawa to break up the convoy protest, they overstepped every piece of authority that they had from our charter and our constitution. And now it's been proven in a court of law that Justin Trudeau had no authority to invoke the War Measures Act or the Emergency Measures Act. That was illegal. Now, is there going to be any fallout for it? No. Well, Carlos, there's got to be change in this country, and there's either it's going to happen with this convoy, that's going to happen in May, or it's going to happen as a all-out revolution against our government, where we basically have a civil war in Canada. Just look, Alberta wants to leave the country because, or Albertans have voted to leave Canada because of the way the federal government conduct themselves. Hello, Ducky. Hang on. Wow. I'll just call you Ducky, okay? I can't read your other name. Yeah. The people of this country as a whole are very docile, but um, they there comes a limit to our uh, timidity, and the government is pushing us, pushing most people to that point. I think Ducky might have um hello Brucey. So Carlos, I think the government is pushing most peaceful citizens to the point where they are not going to be quite so peaceful anymore. They're going to become very vocal, and the liberals under this clown that we've got now. I mean, he bankrupted the Central Bank of England, and then we get him as our prime minister. What do you think he's going to do to this country? The other thing is he is a World Economic Forum, you know, whack job. Uh-huh. Yeah. Interesting to see your pick there, Ray Kumar. Um, you know, that is the Nazi symbol. Um, yeah. Yep. Um, I do not ascribe to the Nazi theory or the Nazi doctrines, but I see the principles that the Nazis used being reused in our modern society, and the people that don't see that are blinder than fucking bats. And they're not just doing it to one segment of society, they are doing it to the entire fucking country. I mean, Hitler proved it could be done to one segment of society. Now they're just duplicating his, his methodology on a bigger scale. And it's at some point, somebody's going to, a bunch of somebodies are going to sit up and say, enough is enough. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Going shopping is just, it's unfucking real. Since COVID hit, there has been probably everything that you can buy in Walmart has gone up by 50% minimum. Some prices have gone up threefold. That means 300%. Okay. A basic like Allen's 1 liter apple juice before the pandemic was 87 cents. Now it's $1.48. That's almost 100% increase. Hello, Megan. Yep. You can't get out of Walmart now, without dropping $100 and barely get a bag full. It used to be, I could go into Walmart and drop $100 and come out with two of their big bags of stuff. Pasta would be 99 cents for a 900-gram pack. Now it's $1.87 for a 500-gram pack. It's crazy. You almost can't afford to eat anymore. We pretty much have to start growing our own food. Oh, you've made more cookies. What kind of cookies did you make for me, Megan? I love cookies. Did you make chocolate chip cookies? Or even better, oatmeal chocolate chip cookies? When I was in college, I would oh, white chocolate. Oh, you hit my sweet spot. ah, yeah. When I do go to Subway for a sub, I always get the white chocolate chip macadamia nut cookies. I love them. They're delicious. Okay, you're gonna go to sleep now, Megan. Okay, thank you for stopping by. You have a good night. And I think I'm going to also wrap it up for tonight. I'm going to go hang out in my friend's live stream, Hardy Miles. Um, she's doing her live stream, her dancing. I support her a lot. To be honest with you, I'm really hoping that her and I can get together sometime. Don't tell her that, because she's about to be single, and I've been single again for 10 years. Although she's been separated from her husband for 5. So, but yeah, um, she'll be probably the woman that's closest to my age if we get married. Of both, of my past 2 wives, the first one was 12 and a half years older than me, and the second one was 20 and a half years younger than me. And this one will only be about 10 years difference. So, anyways, love you guys. Thank you for coming. Yep. Oh, uh-huh. I did not know that. Store high in transit. Okay. Keep it out of the shit. Got it. Uh-huh. Cool. Thank you, Bailey. Thank you for coming. I'm going to end my stream. Appreciate you dropping by and sharing your time with me.